Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Blue Archive reaction. Today we have themes 161 and 224, and also the correction that these were not made for Chinese New Year, but Game Fanatic threw them in anyway just because we were getting close to the Chinese New Year, which is fair. I just kind of read that comment wrong the first time, so I apologize. But also apologizing kind of feels weird because it's not like I messed anything like too serious up. It was just an honest mistake there, but thank you for correcting me either way. I don't like getting things wrong. The worst thing for me is having misinformation spread around. I hate doing that, and I just like to stick to the guns that I know, and that's all I try to do on this channel. So I guess without further ado, let's listen to these two songs, shall we? Let's go. Oh, this is already bouncy. There's something called Oriental Bounce. Oh yeah. Karut going through. We're back on that pentatonic scale too. I like that supportive synth in there. Ooh. Hey? Wait a minute. This is a weird key. I don't hate it though. Whoop. Keychains. Maybe that's why. But as I was saying, really like this synth that's kind of stinging under there. It's just accenting everything on top of it. Cool sound. Woo. High note. See, like, that is filthy. That beat break is absolutely disgusting. In the best way. And you end with a gong. Come on, Karut. That one was really fun, but to be fair, like I kind of referenced at the beginning, we're in that area of the pentatonic scale again, and I've already talked about that in a pretty decent length in the prior video, so I'm going to point to that one for extra details on that and what that is, if you want to know about it and why that's cool and fun. But this one had its own stuff that it was doing that I thought was also really fun. Like I mentioned, that synth underneath everything was just a supportive synth. It was basically just acting as like a space filler, since the main lead synth was really high up there in tone and like the notes were just way up there. So they needed something in like that middle range to support it, and that's what that synth was. It was just a quick sting. It was just getting in and out of there as needed, but that's a good space fill. It's a nice way to make sure that the mix is balanced instead of having something that's really grating. Because if you didn't have that, for example, it would have come off way more fatiguing and it would have been harder to listen to for a while, because that is such a high tone, and to people who are sensitive to higher tones like myself, honestly, that would have gotten really tiring really quick. So that's a good balance to have, is having something under there to be able to support it that way and keep the ear balanced overall. And also another quick shout out for that sick bass drop, kind of. It was just more of like a beat break in there, but I love that. That shit was just straight fire. There's really nothing super fancy about it. It just felt really good. It just took everything apart. It's kind of like when a metal song breaks into a like halftime rhythm. It didn't quite do that. It was a little halftimey, but it mostly was just accents. It was just kind of accented the bass as it went through and added some space in there to bridge it into the next section. That's just great writing. So yet again, Karut over here doing the best of the best when it comes to writing this like kawaii bubble pop sound and having an absolute great time with it. It's just really good. But like I said, most of what I would have said with this one, I've already said in that prior video, but I'm not going to reiterate on that like I said, so if you want to hear more about that, you know where to go, and I will get on to the next song. Let's go! This is by a completely different... Oh, you get a motif from what looks to be like a guest producer? I think I've seen the name Synthion before, but not one of their usual people. Ooh. Yeah, the sound of this is very different. Ooh. Oh, that's sub bass. Dude. This is bouncing in the low end. I'd play this in my car driving past people's houses at 4 a.m. This almost feels like a remix, but I think it's just a motif from one of the prior songs. Maybe there's like an event theme that I don't know about, unless I've already heard it. Either way, I'm having a great time. Woo. Yeah, this is halftime. See how this feels different? And a deconstruction at the end. Start soft, end soft. What was that sample at the end they used? That was such a weird percussive sound. So that one was a little different. Like I had mentioned a few times, I think that that is borrowing some sort of a motif. I'm not sure if there is an overall motif that all the songs I've heard from this general collection that was requested have in common, but it definitely sounds familiar. That might just be, again, the pentatonic scale being used. Given that it's only 5 notes, it's a lot of relationship sharing, even between keys. A lot of it can sound kind of samey, so it's very possible that that's what's going on there. But I love the extra dancing Synthion was doing in this one, and doing those like little diddles around, just keeping notes really close together. It feels a little bit more alive, a little bit more organic. Love that feeling. The mixing on this was absolutely phenomenal as well. I say that a lot, but this one had such a good low-end mix. It had so much beef in that bass range, and like I joked, this is the type of sound that you could hear from a car going by your house at 4 a.m. in the morning, somebody just blaring whatever music. This is the type of bass line that in a car would definitely resonate heavily through and make all that low end like resonate out the bottom of the cab. It's just an insanely beefy track, and that's something that I haven't heard in the mix for a while, because while Karut and others that usually are on these songs are great at their own mixing, usually they do favor that higher range a little bit more, especially Karut loves to have that extra crispiness at the top range, whereas Synthion's did not at all with this one. It was just all low end, a little bit in the high ends. You gotta have them, of course, but it wasn't nearly as rich or crispy in that high end compared to others, and Synthion's bass was just so driven. It felt so good, and it wasn't like an overdrive bass either, where things feel like they're gonna be peaking and there's too much data in there and it just sounds kind of crappy. This is a well-balanced low-end mix, and I do love to hear that every once in a while. And like I said, in this one, that halftime, much more of a halftime. That last song didn't really have so much of a halftime as it did a bass kind of breakdown, this breakbeat section. This was a halftime break where it was completely halftime. The whole song around it, everything it was supporting, went to halftime. The other one just kind of felt like it was a measure or two of changing up the rhythm to make it feel a little different. They are definitely similar approaches to get similar results, but they are not the same thing. So if you want a good example of what is and what isn't a halftime, this is and that isn't. There you go. But I think that's about all I gotta say otherwise, so thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you, Game Fanatic, for throwing these into the comments yet again. I know I didn't get to the third one you had requested, but like I said, I can only get to so many at a time. But obviously, if you want me to get to that other one, leave it in a comment again. We'll see if people want to hear it. And otherwise, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you all know how to do that. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!